Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session of mock test. So, we have two mock tests till date. One has been shared on the 24th May, and the second mock test was shared on the 7th of May. So, today we are going to solve the mock test, right? And one thing I request to everyone that you should rename yourself. Rename yourself with your name, and after your school name should be there. Okay. So let us start today's session with the first question. Which protozoan group includes Plasmodium, the malarial parasite? So, what is the correct answer? Flagellated protozoans. The Plasmodium is not a flagellated protozoan, first of all, right? Sporozoa, the sporozoa structure, if you remember, Plasmodium is having the sporozoan structure, right? That is not flagellated. So the flagellated protozoan, first option, cannot be correct. Ciliated protozoan. Ciliated protozoan example is the Paramecium, not the Plasmodium. So second option is also not correct. And your third option, sporozoans. Yes, sporozoan is the correct answer, right? Amoeboid protozoan, the fourth one. And this is also incorrect option. This is also the incorrect option, amoeboid protozoan. So we are going to opt option C as the correct answer, right? And save it. Next question is, which of the following is the characteristic feature of porifera? Porifera. Tissue level of organization. B. Presence of nidoblast. Third, water transport system with ostia and osculum. And fourth one, the complete digestive system. So tissue level of organization is not there in the case of poriferans. It is cellular level of organization, right? Presence of nidoblast. This is a characteristic of which phylum? Cnidarians. Yes, cnidarians. It is not a characteristic of the porifera, right? And if you see the option D, complete digestive system, there for a complete digestive system, there should be two openings, the mouth and the anus. So again, this is not the correct answer. Now coming to the option C, water transport system with ostia and osculum. So on the body surface, there are minute pores that are called as ostia, and their wall, through the wall, there is a channel, and that leads to the cavity inside it that is called a spongiocele cavity. Spongiocele cavity. And the spongiocele cavity opens to outside. That is the osculum, right? Osculum. So this water transport with ostia and osculum is the correct answer. So we will opt this and save and move to the next question. Next question is, pseudocoelomate are the organism that have A. True coelom lined by the mesoderm, no body cavity, a body cavity not lined by mesoderm, and fourth option, a coelom divided into segment. So for the first option, if you see a true coelom lined by the mesoderm, so that is the coelomate, or you can say the true coelom, right? True coelom. But here they are asking about the pseudocoelomate, false coelomate. No body cavity, that is acoelomate. Again, this is not correct. And if you see option C, a body cavity not lined by the mesoderm, there is a body cavity, but it is not lined by the mesoderm. In fact, in the coelomate organism, it is present in small pouches, right? So pseudocoelomate are the organisms that have a body cavity not lined by the mesoderm, right? Okay. So we will opt this option as a correct option, save and move to our next question. Which level of organization is exhibited by the coelentrates? Coelentrate in coelentrate, which type of organization we see? Hmm? A, cellular level, B, tissue level, C, organ level, and D, organ system level. Organ system level. So coelentrate, the very next to the porifera. Porifera is having the cellular grade of organization, and coelentrates, they are having the tissue. They are having the tissue grade of organization. So we will opt this as a correct answer and save and move to our next question. Next question is, alternation of generation in plants involves A, switching between the autotrophic and heterotrophic phases, alternating haploid gametophyte and the diploid sporophyte phase, seasonal change in the reproductive structures, and the migration between the aquatic and the terrestrial environments. Now, they are talking about the alternation of generation in the case of plants, right? So, there is an alternation of diploid with haploid. In case of plant, diploid with haploid. So, what is the diploid structure? Diploid phase, sporophytic structure, sporophyte. And there is a haploid phase that is called as gametophyte, right? So, this is the correct option. But have a look over the other options also. Switching between autotrophic and heterotrophic. This is not the phase of alternation of generation. This is not showing the alternation of generation. Seasonal changes in the reproductive structures. Again, this is not alternation of generation. Seasonal change we see in some of the organisms that they are having the seasonal change in the reproductive structure. But that is not alternation of generation. True alternation of generation is always and always between the diploid and haploid structure. Diploid sporophyte and haploid gametophyte. Can anyone tell me about the false alternation of generation? Have you ever read about the false alternation of generation? Anyone? Till the time I'm opting this question as a alternating haploid gametophyte and diploid sporophyte. Okay. So we will save and move to our next question. So this is today's homework. You can solve it at your home. Okay. Think about it. And tomorrow you can come up with the answer. Right? Okay. Let's move to our next question. Which of the following is particularly heterotrophic plant? Heterotrophic plant. A, bladderwort, B, Polysiphonia, C, algae, and D, gymnosperm. Partially heterotrophic. Though they are, plant is having autotrophic mode of nutrition. They can make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. But still for other nutrients, they are following the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Polysiphonia. Polysiphonia is an algae. It can make their own food. It is not dependent on other nutrients for the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, right? So polysiphonia cannot be the correct answer. Algae, they can make their own food, right? Gymnosperm also, they can make their own food. But think about the bladderwort. Insectivorous plant, bladderwort, right? So they follow heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition for getting this nitrogen requirement by eating the insects, right? Yes, very good. So we will opt option A, bladderwort, as a correct answer and save and move to the next question. The cell wall in plantae is primarily composed of plant cell wall is primarily composed of A. chitin, B. cellulose, C. peptidoglycan, and D. lignin. Right? We see these components: chitin, cellulose, peptidoglycan. Right? They are present in the cell wall. Right? But in the case of plants, green plants, they are talking about, the major component is the cellulose. The major component is the cellulose. Chitin. In which plant we see the chitin as a cell wall made up of? Hmm? Fungi. Yes, fungi. They are having chitin, right? Their cell wall is made up of chitin. Peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan. Monera, very good. Bacteria are having the peptidoglycan. Their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. And lignin is also there in sclerenchyma. Very good. Sclerenchyma, right? Okay. So, correct answer for this question is cellulose. We will opt this and save and move to our next question. Which group is not a part of plant kingdom? Which group is not a part of plant kingdom? Options are A. Algae, B. Bryophytes, C. Gymnosperms, and D. Fungi. Fungi. Okay. Everyone is saying option D. Option D. Fungi. Algae, we have just now studied about like algae as a member of a plant kingdom. Bryophytes, they are also the members of plant kingdom. And the next one, gymnosperm, they are also the members of the plant kingdom. They are the members of the plant kingdom. But what about the fungi? Fungi are not the member of plant kingdom. They are not the member of the plant kingdom, right? So we can opt this fungi. Why the fungi are not kept in plant kingdom? Why they are not considered as a plants? Can anyone tell me? Fungi are not considered as a plant. Why? Any answer? Fungi is not kept in plant kingdom. Because, very important point, they are not having chlorophyll. They are not having chlorophyll. They cannot make their own food, right? There are some other differences, like their cell wall is made up of chitin, right? They are following the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And why they are following the heterotrophic mode of nutrition? Because they are not having chlorophyll. They cannot make their own food. They are saprophytes, yes. But why they are saprophytes? Why they are heterotrophic? Because they cannot make their own food. So they have to adapt some or the other way to get the nutrition, to get the food. So they got adapted as a saprophyte or heterotrophic mode of nutrition, right? So fungi is not a member of plant kingdom. So we will opt this as a correct answer and move to our next question. Next question. The next question is here. Which fungi are known for forming lichens through a symbiotic association with the algae? Lichens are forming the symbiotic association. The algae and fungi come close together. They come close together and they form an association. And this association is known as lichen, and they are living as an individual, right? But the question is, which fungi are known as forming the lichens? So the option, let us see the option A, Basidiomycetes and Phycomycetes. B, Ascomycetes and basidiomycetes, deuteromycetes and ascomycetes, and phycomycetes and deuteromycetes. Yes. So there are two classes of fungi that are involved in the process of lichen forming. They are involved in the process of lichen forming. And those two classes are Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Can anyone can tell me why this Deuteromycetes and Phycomycetes are not forming as a lichen? Why they are not forming the lichen? The two classes, Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, are forming the lichen. But Deuteromycetes and Phycomycetes, Phycomycetes are not involved in forming the lichens. Why? See, for the formation of lichen, there should be like mycelium, right? There should be a mycelium, and the mycelium should be of septate type. The mycelium should be of septate type. What about the Phycomycetes? Phycomycetes are not having the septate high. They are aseptate and having the aseptate and cenocytic hyphae. So that type of hyphae is not appropriate for formation of the lichens, right? Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes are the best one, and they form the fruiting bodies. You know, fruiting bodies. Fungi form the fruiting bodies. And the two classes, Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, are the best one to form the fruiting bodies. Basidiocarp and Ascocarp. Okay? Basidiocarp and Ascocarp. So that type of structure is relevant and helpful for the formation of this, you can say, lichen structure. They can have some algal component along with the this fungal hyphae, right? So they are more concerned for the formation of the lichen structure, right? And their substratum, from the substratum, they are having the like hyphae that can absorb the water also, right? So the correct answer is Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, where the other option, the one that contain the Phycomycetes, Deuteromycetes, right? The option A, option B, and option C, they are not correct. So do remember this. This is very, very important. Next question. Which of the following is a characteristic feature of Phycomycetes? Characteristic feature of Phycomycetes. Option A, septate and cenocytic mycelium. B, asexual reproduction by conidia. C, formation of zygospore by isogamous or anisogamous gametes. D, presence of dikaryophase in life cycle. Phycomycetes. One of the characteristic of the Phycomycetes that they are having aseptate and cenocytic mycelium. Aseptate and cenocytic mycelium. But if you see the first option, they are written septate and cenocytic mycelium. So that cannot be the correct answer. That cannot be the correct answer. If you see the second one, conidia. Conidia formation takes place in which type of fungi? They are the asexual reproductive structures, right? but they are not forms in phycomycetes. They are formed in ascomycetes. They are formed in ascomycetes. See the option C. Formation of zygospores by isogamous or anisogametes. This is the correct option. This is the correct option, right? So this is going to be the correct option. Presence of dikaryophase in the life cycle. Phycomycetes is not forming any dikaryophase in their life cycle. This is not the characteristic of the phycomycetes. So we will opt C option as the correct, right? And save and move to our next question. In which animal nerve cells is present but the brain is absent? Nerve cell is present but the brain is absent. Let us see the option. A, sponge. B, earthworm. C, cockroach. And D, hydra. Sponge is not having any nerves type of cells. Earthworm is having the proper nerve ganglion like structure. They are having the nerve ganglion, right? If you talk about the cockroach also, they are also having the nerve ganglion and two nerve cord. But what about the hydra? Hydra is not having any brain. It is not having any brain, but their body wall, the nerve cells are spread all over their body wall. All over their body wall, right? So the hydra is the correct answer for this question. So we will opt hydra as the correct answer, save and move to our next question. Which process exists both autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition? A, slime molds. B, euglenoids. C, dinoflagellates. And D, amoeboid protozoans. Slime molds. Slime molds is a type of, you can say they are like fungi, right? They are like fungi. They are always having the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Euglenoids. Euglena are having some chloroplast. So when euglena is having light, if they are present in water and they are getting lights, so they can do the process of photosynthesis. Autotrophic mode of nutrition at that particular time they are following. But when the sunlight is not present, what they do at that time? What they do? They takes the other organism as a prey. Small microorganism. They engulf them and take them as their food. So at that time, they are following the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, right? Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So this euglena or euglenoids is a protist. They are under the protist that is showing the autotrophic as well as the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And this is also called as a connecting link. Euglena is also called as a connecting link between the plants and animals. Yes, generally the animals are exhibiting the heterotrophic mode of nutrition and plant is showing the autotrophic mode of nutrition. So this can be considered as a connecting link. So euglena, we will opt this, save and move to our next question. Heterocysts in cyanobacteria are specialized for A, photosynthesis, B, nitrogen fixation, C, spore formation, and D, DNA transfer. So, which is the correct answer? Heterocyst, the two cyanobacteria. Can anyone tell me the cyanobacteria? Cyanobacteria, examples of cyanobacteria. Yes, one is the nostoc and another one is the Anabaena. Nostoc, Anabaena. These are the two very common examples of the cyanobacteria, right? What they do? They are the filamentous structure. Their body is filamentous. And some of the cells of Anabaena and nostoc get modified and they form a special cell that is called as heterocyst. That special cell is called as heterocyst. And that heterocyst is responsible for nitrogen fixation. They can take the nitrogen from the air and can fix and make it available to the plants in which they are living. Nostoc and Anabaena, where they are present, any example they are showing the symbiotic relationship? Any example for the symbiotic relationship we studied just now? Hmm? Nitrogen fixation, helping in the nitrogen fixation, and they are living inside some organism. Any example? If you remember, coralloid root in the case of cycas, just now we have studied 2-3 days back. Hmm? Inside the nodules, there is a rhizobium. Rhizobium is another bacteria that is different. But we are talking about the cyanobacteria, Anabaena and nostoc. So in the case of coralloid root of cycas, these Anabaena and nostoc, they are living inside that. And what they can do, they can fix the atmospheric nitrogen and make it available to the gymnosperm. They can make it available to the gymnosperm, right? Roots. So they can take the nitrogen from there. And in return, what they get? They get food and shelter, right? Okay. So we will opt this as a correct answer. Heterocyst, remember, nitrogen fixation. Organism, nostoc, Anabaena. Example where they are found? In gymnosperm. Example cycas, coralloid root. This thing you must remember. Okay. Let's move to our next question. Which characteristic differentiate Archaebacteria from other bacteria? A. Presence of chlorophyll A. Presence of chlorophyll A. B. Different cell wall structure. C. Ability to form heterocyst. And D option, reproduction via binary fission. So we are talking about the Archaebacteria, that is very ancient type of bacteria, and from the other normal bacteria. So what characteristic you have studied about the Archaebacteria? The Archaebacteria live in a very adverse type of condition. They live in a harsh environment condition like the hot springs. The hot spring that can have a temperature up to 100 degrees centigrade. Halophiles and thermoacidophiles are some of the examples of the Archaebacteria. So they can withstand with such a high temperature. How is this possible? How it is possible that they can withstand with such a high temperature? Because of their cell wall structure. Their cell wall structure. Right? So which characteristic differentiate Archaebacteria from the other bacteria? The other bacteria is not having such a cell wall that they can withstand with such a high temperature, right? So the correct option is B, different cell wall structure. They are not having chlorophyll A. They are not forming any heterocyst structure. They do follow the binary fission, right? Bacteria divide by the binary fission. But this is not the one that showing the difference. The first thing, the major difference between the Archaebacteria and bacteria is the different cell wall structure. So we will save this and move to our next question. Which of the following pairs belong to the same family? Same family. A. Solanum tuberosum and Panthera leo, Mangifera indicum and Triticum aestivum, Felis domestica and Panthera leo, and Homo sapiens and Musca domestica. So they are asking about the family. They are asking about the family, right? Solanum tuberosum, Solanaceae family, Panthera leo. What is the family of Panthera leo? Can anyone can tell me? Family of Panthera leo. It is Phallidae. Family of Panthera leo is the Phallidae, right? Mangifera indica, Triticum aestivum. Triticum aestivum is not the Mangifera indica family. Triticum belongs to the Gramineae family. So this is again not the correct option. Look at the option C. Felis domestica and Panthera leo. Felis domestica is again the Phallidae. The Phallidae. And Panthera leo is also belonging to the Phallidae, right? Homo sapiens and Musca domestica. Homo sapiens belongs to the family. They are mammals. They are mammals. And Musca domestica, that is your housefly. They belongs to the arthropoda, right? So again, this is not the correct one. The correct one is option C, right? So we will opt this, save, and move to our next question. In the scientific name Panthera tigris, what does the Panthera represents? Very simple question. A, species, B, genus, C, family, and D, order. So the correct answer is genus without any discussion, right? Genus. The first name is genus and the second name is species. So we will opt this, save, and move to our next question. What does the term taxon refer to the biological classification? Very important question. Let us see the option. A, a group of organism at any hierarchical level. B, the evolutionary history of a species. C, the process of naming organisms. And D, a tool used for the morphological studies. So when you have studied about this biological classification, there is a taxon, right? There is an hierarchy that you move from species, then genus, then family, class, order, right? Then we are having phylum. Okay. So like this, we are moving from lower to the higher category, and every category is what? Is a taxon. It is a taxon. So a group of organism at any hierarchical level is considered as a taxon, right? It is not related to the evolutionary history of a species. The process of naming of organism. Taxon is not a naming of organism, a tool used for the morphological studies. No. Okay. So all these options are incorrect, but the first one is the correct one. So we will save it and move to our next question. What is the correct format for writing the scientific name of mango as per the binomial nomenclature? Binomial nomenclature. You can see Mangifera indica, it is not italics. Mangifera indica lin means Linnaeus. Mangifera indica simple, and Mangifera indica in bracket Linnaeus. So what do you think? Which is the correct one? See, the correct way of writing, you will write the genus name, right? You will write the species name. Genus name should be the capital, with the capital letter, start with the capital. Species name start with the small letter, and both are italics. And after that, you will write in which, who has discovered that. Lean means Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus, right? Carolus Linnaeus. So option B is the correct one. It's a very simple but very important question. B option is correct. Okay, we will opt this and move to our next question. Which of the following is the primary purpose of binomial nomenclature? What is the primary purpose of binomial nomenclature? First option, to assign names based on the organism habits. Second, to ensure each organism has a unique two-part scientific name. C, to translate local names into the Latin for uniformity. And option D, to classify organisms into hierarchical categories. So what do you think? Which is the correct option? Binomial nomenclature, the name itself indicate two names, right? So every organism should get the two name. First genus and second is the species, right? So the correct answer is option B, right? So we will save and move to our next question. Which characteristic is not possessed by the phylum Annelida? Phylum Annelida. Option A, closed circulatory system. B, segmentation. C, pseudocoelom. D, ventral nerve cord. They are having the closed circulatory system, right? They are having the heart and they are having the vessels. So closed circulatory system, segmentation is there. Internal and outer segmentation, that is showing the metamerism phenomena. They are having the ventral nerve cord as well. And pseudocoelom, they are having the true coelom. The first phylum that is having the true coelom, right? Pseudocoelom, in which phylum we see that? Aschelminthes. What about the Platyhelminthes? Acoelomate. Acoelomate. Acoelomate, then pseudocoelomate, then true coelom, right? So pseudocoelomate is going to be the correct. We will save and submit the first test. So our all the answers are correct. Okay. So we have finished our first test. Let's move to our second test. I'll take a minute to come back with the second test. So be with us. So here comes our second test, second mock test that was published on 7th of June, right? So everyone has to attempt this test. So you can open your test even on your phones or on your system, right? And you can do this test, right? So this will be the revision if you have already attempted. Okay, so let us take the questions. First question, in pteridophytes, the male gametes are transferred to the archegonium. Male gametes transferred to the let us see the options. A, wind. B, water. C, insects. D, birds. Very simple question, right? Pteridophytes or bryophytes both required water. Just now we have studied. Just now we have studied. But what about the gymnosperm? Wind is responsible, right? So, but in this question, water is the correct answer. Insects and birds are not responsible for the gamete transfer in the case of pteridophyte because the gametes in the pteridophytes are flagellated. They are flagellated, right? And for flagellated gametes, they required what? They required water, right? So we will opt this and move to our next question. Which of the following is distinguished feature of class Aves? A, presence of mammary glands. Four-chambered heart. External fertilization. Moist skin with the scales. Aves mean birds. Mammary glands, that is not found in the case of birds. They are present in the mammals. External fertilization in the birds also. There is a internal fertilization. The external fertilization is not the correct answer. Moist skin with scales. No. They are having the dry skins with feathers. No oil glands are present except at the tail. Except at the tail. There they are having the oil glands, right? Coming to the option B, four-chambered heart, because they have to fly. They required more energy. So, more production of ATP, and for that they require more oxygen, right? And oxygen is transported via blood, and blood is pumped with the help of heart. So, to increase the efficiency, there should be four-chambered heart in which the blood do not get mixed. Whereas in the case of three-chambered heart that we see in the case of the reptiles and amphibians, except crocodile, in the case of reptiles, they are four-chambered. But the other amphibians and reptiles, they are having three-chambered heart, right? But due to their higher requirement of energy, they are required four-chambered. This is the unique feature of the aves. We will opt this and move to our next question. In which phylum do the organism exhibit metagenesis? Alternation of generation between the polyp and medusa forms. A. Ctenophora, B. Coelenterata or Cnidaria, C. Platyhelminthes, and D. Annelida. Okay. So, alternation of generation, polyp and medusa. Polyp is a cylindrical structure. And it is sessile. It is attached to the substratum. Whereas the medusa, it is an umbrella shape and it can move from one place to the another. Where you have studied this structure? This structure we have studied in the case of Cnidarians, right? Coelenterata. So they alternate polyp and medusa, and this special alternation of generation, that is called as metagenesis. And this is showing the false alternation of generation. Because here, this was the question which I asked some time before. False alternation of generation. Why? Because here we do not get the diploid and haploid structure. Okay. Only diploid stages. So this is, though they are showing the alternation of generation between polyp and medusa, but it is a false type if we consider the ploidy, that is diploid and haploid. So we will opt B option as a correct one and move to the next question. Which class of chordata includes animals with a cartilaginous endoskeleton and placoid scales? Yes, correct B option. Obelia show. But move to this new question. Which class chordata include the Animalia with the cartilaginous endoskeleton and placoid scales? A. Osteochthes, B. Chondrochthes, Cyclostomata, and Amphibia. Osteochthes is a bony fish. So that could not be the correct answer because here the cartilaginous endoskeleton they are talking about. Chondrochthes. Chondrochthes are the fishes. They are having the endoskeleton made up of cartilage. Endoskeleton made up of cartilage. Right? Cyclostomata. Right? They are not having any type of scales. Do consider the second thing also. Don't consider only the endoskeleton part. They are asking about the placoid scales. And if you remember, the cyclostomata are not having any type of placoid scales. Any type of scales even. Placoid scales and cartilaginous endoskeleton is the characteristic of the Chondrochthes fishes. Osteochthes, they are having the ossified bones. They are having the bones and they are having ctenoid type of scales. So here the correct answer is Chondrochthes. We will save and move to our next question. What is the primary excretory structure in Platyhelminthes? Primary excretory structure in Platyhelminthes. A. Nephridia. B. Flame cells. C. Malpighian tubules. And D. Proboscis. So the correct answer is Nephridia. That we see in the case of Annelida. Flame cells. That we see in the case of Platyhelminthes. Your answers are correct. Malpighian tubules, where we see orthopods, and proboscis gland. That is also see in the case of another orthopodons. So flame cells is the correct answer. So we will opt this and move to our next question. Which of the following is a characteristic feature of Porifera? Let us see the options. A. Tissue level of organization, presence of nidoblast cells, water transport with ostia and osculum, and complete digestive system. Option. Which option? C. This question we have already discussed, right? So water transport system with ostia and osculum. Without wasting any time, let's opt this as the correct answer and move to our next question. Heterospory, very important question. Heterospory in pteridophyte is observed in A. Equisetum and Salvinia, B. Selaginella and Salvinia, Xylotum and Lycopodium, Fern and Adiantum. Fern and Adiantum. So which is the correct answer? C. Salvinia shows the heterospory, but Equisetum do not show the heterospory. So option 1 is not going to be the correct one. Xylotum and Lycopodium both are homosporous. Fern and Adiantum again homosporous. But Selaginella, they bear the microspores and macrospores, right? And your Salvinia is also bear the microspores and heterospores. So heterospory pteridophyte is observed in Salvinia and Selaginella. So we will opt B as the correct answer and move to our next question. The precursor to the seed habit in evolution is associated with option A, retention of female gametophyte on the parent sporophyte, dominant sporophytic generation, C, presence of vascular tissues, and option D, homosporous nature. So seed habit, for the seed habit, there should be one thing. First thing, that is heterospory. First thing, that is heterospory. And if there is a heterospory, then there will be two types of gametophyte, male gametophyte and female gametophyte, right? Male gametophyte, male prothallus, female prothallus. From male prothallus, antheridium is there, male reproductive organ. And from there, the antherozoid will comes out. And with the help of water, they will move towards the female gametophyte, the female prothallus. Because there, the archegonia is there. And archegonia releases some of the chemicals that attract the flagellated antherozoids. And when these antherozoid moves under the archegonia, because they are having the neck-like structure, that makes the way towards the egg, which is present inside the archegonia. So there the fertilization takes place and the egg transforms into the zygote. Now this zygote is present where? In the archegonia, and archegonia is present where? Female gametophyte. So retention of female gametophyte on the parent sporophyte. This is going to be the correct answer, right? So we will opt and this is the correct answer and move to our next question. Next question is, which class of pteridophyte includes Selaginella? A. Psilopsida. A. Psilopsida. B. Lycopsida. C. Sphenopsida. And D. Pteropsida. Selaginella belongs to which of the class of pteridophytes. Lycopsida is there that, yes, Lycopsida is there that is having the Lycopodium and Selaginella, two very, very important types of pteridophytes, right? So, this is going to be the correct answer. Lycopsida. We will save and move to our next question. Which bryophyte is known for providing peat used as a fuel? Peat moss commonly called as A. Markensia, B. Funaria, C. Sphagnum, and D. Polytrichum. D. Polytrichum. So which is going to be the correct common name? Peat moss. Sphagnum is commonly known as peat moss, and we get peat from the sphagnum. So we will opt this as a correct answer and move to our next question. Which of the following is a characteristic feature of chlorophyceae algae? A. Presence of fucoxanthin. B. Storage of food as laminarin. C. Cell wall made up of cellulose and pectose. And option D. Flagella. Absent in gametes. Presence of fucoxanthin. This is the characteristic of brown algae. Phaeophyceae. Storage of food as laminarin. This is again not the characteristic of chlorophyceae. Phaeophyceae it is. And option D. Flagella absent in gametes. Rhodophyceae. This we see in the case of Rhodophyceae. But what about the chlorophyceae? The cell wall. The cell wall is made up of cellulose and pectose. And what about in the case of Phaeophyceae? Phaeophyceae. The cell wall is having deposition of a very special thing. What is that? Elgin. Very good. Elgin. Okay, along with the cellulose, they are having the elgin. And that is a type of hydrocolloid. And that commercially extracted from the Phaeophyceae, right? These are the very, very important things you should remember. So, opting this as a correct answer, right? We'll move to the next one. What is the first stage in the life cycle of moss? A. Leafy stage, B. Sporophyte, C. Protonema, and D. Zygote. First stage they are talking in the case of moss, from where it started. Leafy stage is not the first stage. Sporophyte, that is totally dependent upon the gametophyte, so that cannot be the first stage. Zygote, no, zygote is not the first stage. Protonema, the life cycle from the protonema, there comes the leafy stage. So protonema is the correct option, and this is the first stage in the life cycle of. Opting this as a correct answer. Let's move to our next question. Which of the following is a characteristic feature of pteridophytes? A. Dominant gametophytic phase. B. Presence of vascular tissue. Absence of true roots, stems and leaves. Homosporous nature in all genera. Dominant gametophytic phase. This is totally incorrect, because pteridophyte is having sporophyte as a dominant phase. Presence of vascular tissue. First time the pteridophyte is having the vascular tissue, right? First time we see the vascular tissue in the case of pteridophytes. So that is the correct answer. Absence of true roots, true stems and leaves. This is the characteristic of bryophytes, not the pteridophytes, because the pteridophytes are having the true root, true stem and true leaves. Homosporous nature in all genera. No. In the case of pteridophytes, two types of genera are there. Some are having homosporous and some are heterosporous. Just now we have studied about. Okay. So opting B option, presence of vascular tissue. This is a characteristic feature of pteridophytes. We will save and move to our next question. Which structure in liverworts is involved in asexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction. A. Anthridium, B. Archegonium, C. Gamma, and D. Protonema. So gamma cup, if you remember, the liverworts are having the gamma cup. They are having the gamma cup. And inside the gamma cup, there are buds-like structure. So that bud-like structure, when detached from the thallus and get the suitable substratum, there they germinate and forms a new thallus. So gamete is opting as a correct answer. We'll save and move to the next question. Which of the following is not a characteristic of bryophytes? Not a characteristic of bryophytes. They have a true root, stems, and leaves. The main plant body is haploid. They require water for sexual reproduction. The sporophyte is dependent upon the gametophyte. The lower three options, B, C, and D, the main plant body is haploid. Yes, it is having the haploid structure, main plant body. So that is the correct statement. They require water for sexual reproduction. Yes, this is again the correct statement in the case of bryophytes. And the sporophyte is a dependent on gametophyte. This is again the correct statement. Look at the first. They are having the true root, stem, and leaves. No, they are not having the true stem, true roots, and true leaves. So this is going to be the correct option. We will opt and move to the next question. In bryophytes, the sporophyte is A, free living and photosynthetic. B, dependent on the gametophyte for the nutrition. C, dominant phase of the life cycles. D, formed after the meiosis of the zygote. So which is the correct answer? In bryophytes, sporophyte is attached to the gametophyte. It is attached to the gametophyte, and from there they take the nourishment. Right? So free living and photosynthetic, this is not correct. Sporophyte is not free living. The dominant phase of the life cycle is sporophyte. No, gametophyte is the life cycle as the dominant phase. Formed after the meiosis of the zygote, this is again going to be the incorrect. The correct one is the dependent on the gametophyte for nutrition. Next question. The holdfast, stipe, and frond are structural parts found in A, chlorophyce, B, phaeophyce, C, rhodophyce, and all of the above. So the large kelps, phaeophyce, they are having the holdfast that attach to the substratum. They are stripe-like structure and they are having the frond-like structure. So phaeophyce is the correct option. We will save and move to our next question. Which of the following is a commercial product obtained from the brown algae? A, agar, B, carrageenan, C, algin, and D, Floridian starch. So algin is the correct. Algin. Carrageenan is again we obtain from the red algae. Okay. So agar is obtained from the red algae. Floridian starch is not from the brown algae. So we will opt this. This is again from the red algae. Algin we obtain from the brown algae. Oogamous reproduction is observed in A, Eulothrix, Spirogyra, Volvox, Ectocarpus. Volvox. Yes. Oogamous type of reproduction. Volvox. Next question, and this is the last question. In which class of algae is the pigment phycoerythrin predominantly found? A, chlorophyce, B, phaeophyce, C, rhodophyce, and D, cyanophyce. Rhodophyce. Okay. Phycoerythrin. R phycoerythrin and R phycocyanin are the two pigments. So rhodophyce is the correct answer. We will opt this, save, submit the test, and see the result. So all the answers are correct, right? So we have completed our 2 of the mock test, which was done or published on 24th of May and 7th of June on our website. So this is all about today's session. Study hard. And 20th question, this one. In pteridophytes, the male gametes are transferred to the Okay, you want to 20th question. Which class of the algae is the pigment phycoerythrin predominantly found? Predominantly found means the red color pigment. Red color pigment. You should remember the name of the red color pigment. That is the R-phycocyanin and R-phycoerythrin. Right? So if it is written phycoerythrin, then also it is the red color pigment. So in which of the class of the algae you see the red color pigment? Rhodophyceae. Rhodophyceae. And one thing, Rhodophyceae, they are having the red pigment. It doesn't mean that they are not green. They are not having green pigment. They do have green pigment. They do have green pigment. But this red color pigment is so predominantly present that it masks the green color pigment. Right? So A and D pigment we see in the case of Rhodophyceae. That is the green color. But the predominant pigment is the phycoerythrin. Okay. So thank you very much for attending today's session. We will meet again. Okay. Next session. Till then, take care and bye.